Hey guys, Zookeeper here, and today I wanted to talk about cluster jewels. They're a pretty big part of pretty much every build nowadays. They're quite expensive, so it's really important that we get to understand what we're looking for and get them as cheap as we can because they give a lot of benefits. As you can see, I just transitioned into Burning Arrow Elementals. I got 12 passive skill points available, and I just need to fit my large cluster jewels in. Now, without further ado, let's just jump straight into my POB and let's talk about the first large cluster jewel I'm going to be using. Now, what you need to understand with cluster jewels is on the white text on the upper side of the description, you're going to have the number of passive skills you can be using and then the enchantment that you need for the base, which is basically, in my case, minions dealt 10% increased damage. And then on the bottom side of it, you got your two notables, which are Primordial Bond and Skill is Renewal, and that's my large cluster jewel. And then I'm gonna be looking for a medium one, which needs 5 passive skills. It needs 4% of them fire damage over time multiplier, and then it needs blowback and smoking remains as notables. Now, without further ado, let's keep moving. The first tool I'm gonna be using is PoEDB. So if you're on the main page of PoEDB, you're gonna go over to cluster jewels. You're gonna be looking for enchantment modifiers, and my base is minions deal 10% increased damage. So I'm gonna be looking for that one. You wanna scroll down once you click that one. And now let's talk about PoEDB, because there's a few things you need to understand when you're looking at this. This might be overwhelming. So the number over here is the number of mods that you're going to be able to roll on it. This number over here, which is the white text on the black background, is going to be the item level required, and that usually just shows you the biggest item level that you get on a potential roll. So if you click on it, you got Vicious Bite, which is item level 75, and that's a minimum item level requirement. You got Call to Slaughter, which is item level 1, and then you got Primordial Bond, which is minimum of item level 68. Then you got your tags over here. Some of them are gonna be white, which is attributes. You got resource, you got mana. Those are the things you can't deterministically craft. But then you got your colored tags, which are life, fire, physical, the attack, chaos, and so on and so forth. And those are the things you can use to craft on your items, and then hopefully get the mod that you need to run on the item. Obviously, that's still this has a lot of RNG involved, so sometimes it's gonna take a while. And then on the furthest right hand side, you're gonna have the white text in red background, which is basically your weight, right? The bigger the weight, the more common the mod is gonna be on the item. So the more common you're likely to encounter it when you're crafting it, right? The smaller it is, the less likely it is. Right, the next thing I usually use is Path of Exile. I'm gonna be linking everything in the description below. So you wanna go over to Path of Exile. You wanna go over to cluster jewels. Let's say large cluster jewels, because I'm looking for mine. I'm gonna go over to minion damage because that's the base that I need. And then I need to find the suffix and the prefix that I need, basically. So I'm looking for a Primordial Bond, and I'm looking for a Renewal. Now, why is this good? Is first of all, obviously you still have your tags and your weight and your item level requirements and so on and so forth, but then you can have a look into crafting it. So let's say I want to try and craft this one, and I'm going to be using alteration orbs, right? So that's basically what this computes for me in general. Let's do a regular one, which is going to be 38 tries, but what's that basically telling you is once you got one of the other mods and you wriggle the other one, you're most likely gonna get in 38 tries on average. My advice would be using getting the one that has less weight, and then getting the other one that you're gonna be more likely to encounter. That's generally a good rule to follow. Now let's talk about how to actually get them on trade site. And what to look for, because if I was to look for my specific cluster jewel here, I actually had a look on trade site earlier, and this one sold for 3x, right? It was 2.9, and then this was 3x, which is a lot. So what I do is I set my live searches. As you can see, I actually had some quite recently actually. What I did was, because this is the important stuff, right? If you want to look for your cluster base, you want to set your enchants. Let me just start my live search. So you want to set up your enchants, which is a number of passive skills, and that's a max of 8 here, and then a small passive skills grant, and then you just select your stuff from here, right? Which in my case is minions deal increased damage. Now the other thing I'm looking for is, which is why I'm using either Path of Exile or PoEDB, is the item level requirement. For renewal, that's gonna be 50, right? Because it's the white text in the black background, and then for a primordial bond, that's gonna be 68. So I just want to go over to item level requirements. So I'm gonna do a minimum of 50 and then a maximum of 69. Why do you want to limit those? Well, because you've got a lot of item level requirements, and if you don't set your limit, you're gonna get an item that can roll basically every mode on here. So you just want to be really specific, because that helps a lot with crafting. And then getting an item level that's not, let's say item level 75 is not gonna be able to roll Vicious Bite, which basically means you're gonna be rolling a lot less mods, right? Which makes it easier for you to craft on your items. So I've done my item level requirements, and then I want to go over to buyout price, and I want to set a minimum, a maximum actually, of 60 chaos orbs, so like 50 in my case, and you just can just activate your live search. That's pretty much it when it comes to actually searching for them. I actually got a few of them. I'm also looking for my mini ones, which people are gonna be listing a lot of basically, and really cheap. You don't want to pay 3x for the large cluster one. You kind of want to be paying as less as you can, I guess. The next thing you can do is, if you want to turn this into a flipping strategy, you can go over to PoE Ninja. You can go over to builds. Let's say I want to pick an elemental build. Let's say I want to get the burning arrow one, because basically what's gonna make you most of the money is gonna be meta builds, right? So I'm gonna pick burning arrow. I'm gonna take this guy, which is basically the same build I'm using. Then I can just check his cluster jewels and just look for the stuff that he needs, right? And then just sell them for big bucks. Whenever you got a build that's gonna be used by a lot of people, they're gonna be expensive. That's why it's really important that you set your live searches just the way I did, and try and get them for as low as you can, basically. Then you get your info from the websites I just showed you in terms of item level and how to craft them, basically. Because with using the tags that you get from PoEDB, you can use fossils, you can use harvest. I mean, harvest not as much, obviously, since last leak, but you're gonna be able to use those. You can go over to PoE wiki and look for the fossil that you need, because they're gonna be equivalent to the tags that you get on PoEDB. So based on your current jewel, you're gonna be able to use fossils to craft on your cluster jewels, basically. Now that's pretty much. I can't go too much into that because there's a lot to talk about. I can't go too much into crafting. I just want to show you one other thing, which is better Path of Exile trading, which is a browser extension that you can use on PoE trade site. It's this thing over here. This helps a lot with setting your live searches. There's a lot of really good players in the game that are using this tool to get their live searches up and running before league start, and it's pretty easy actually. I'm going to show you a bit how I use it. You can click on new folder once you've installed it. I'm gonna put the link in the description. Let's say I want to do another folder, and I'll show you why this is really good actually. And let's say this is a BA build, right? Because I want to set my live searches for it. and then I can just adjust it. If I have my live search set for a specific item, it doesn't have to be a large cluster jewel. I can just register the current rate, right? And I can say this is I don't know, this is gonna be large cluster 1, right? I'm gonna save that one, and then I'm gonna go over to, I don't know, my second live search. And I can just open this again, and then register this one as well, and I'll call this large cluster 2, and then I'll go over to this one and just call it medium cluster, right? And I can save those. Now the really good thing about this is, first of all, you got your live searches on, so whenever, even if you're playing, and you can just keep your browser in the background, and whenever your live searches pop out, you're gonna have a sound coming from the browser to let you know they found something that you need. The good thing about it is you can export your stuff, right? So I can go over to export, share. For each of those, you can copy this, and you can just send it over to, like, the way the trade site is specifically set up at this point in time is you can have 20 live searches at once per IP per account. But there are people out there which are using, you know, laptops and different IPs and different accounts, but that's something I don't want to go into because I don't think GG allows it. My point being is, whenever you're trying, because this is basically sniping. Oh, one thing I didn't mention is your live search are not gonna respect your maximum buyout price whenever the person that posted the item wasn't online when you set up the live search. So you're gonna be getting stuff like that, right? You're also gonna be getting, let's find one that, so this one, this is actually a really expensive base, but this guy just listed this one for 1.5 chaos. Maybe it just meant 1.5x, I don't know. This guy listed this one for 2C. The issue is you're gonna be fighting a lot of crafters, you're gonna be fighting a lot of 1%ers, you're gonna be fighting a lot of RMTers, so you're not gonna get them a lot of the times, because whenever a guy like this lists an item like this one, he's gonna get 50 whispers instantly. So most of the times you're gonna see them turn D&D on. But this is still a really good practice for league start, and it's just the best way to snipe things. And you can set, as I said, a maximum of 20 live searches per account per IP. I'm gonna list this now. I was actually talking about sharing this. Once you've done that, you can also import it. You can just share this with a friend of yours if you both want to be looking for the same item. Like, the sky is the limit over here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know, actually I got another one. I know this is hard to take in. It's a lot of tools to be using, but that's how people make a lot of currency in the game. That's how people flip cluster jewels. It's pretty much the best way you can do it. It's overwhelming at times, but with a bit of practice and a bit of luck, you're gonna get there eventually. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That was quite a long video. Thank you guys for watching. If you're looking for any other advice or just want to hang out with me, I usually stream live at Twitch TV /Zookeeper. The link is going to be in the description as well. Also, each of the tools that I used are going to be in the description. But yeah, that's pretty much for now. Thank you guys for watching, and be safe. Bye bye. Take care.